So again, thank you everyone for joining today. If you just hopped on, really excited to be here today with Jared and Dane. Just before we begin today, a few housekeeping items that I want to run through. We will be recording this awesome session. So if you can't make it to the end, we will record it and send it to you after. And then we also have time for Q&A. So please submit questions throughout, and we'll do our best to get to those at the end of the session. And again, just thank you so much for joining today. I'm Kelsey Chisholm, Director of Marketing here at NeuraFlash, and I'm honored to be introducing our amazing speakers today. So I'll give the floor to you, Dane, and then pass to Jared to just do some quick introductions here.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. Dane Peterson. I'm the Director of Innovation here at NeuraFlash. I help lead our generative AI practice, as well as work very closely with Jared and the Terrane team on their exploration and implementation of Salesforce. So Jared, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Dane. Thank you, Kelsey. Hi, I'm Jared. I'm the CIO and EVP of Operations here at Terrane, land surveying firm. And like Dane said, we're working very closely together to drive impact in our tech stack.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, you too. Appreciate it. And then just a quick overview of our agenda today. So Jared and Dane are going to lead us through just a conversation around Terrane's journey with Salesforce, and really how they optimized operations to set new standards for customer service excellence. And then we're going to really dive into how they've laid the foundation for future AI work. And Dane's going to show us a really cool demo of just some opportunities that they've been exploring together on the AI front. So now I'm going to pass over to Jared to get us going with just an introduction of who Terrane is and kind of how this journey started.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Terrane land surveying is probably one of the largest survey-only firms in Washington. We've been in business since 1983. We really centered our business model on executing high volumes of small projects. We use the term serving the underserved. We found a market here that, gosh, many of our clients need surveys. They need them fast. They need them at scale, and we're able to fill that void for them. As it shows here on the slide, we do a lot of commercial residential surveys. We do EV surveys, telecom. We have a construction division that focuses on mid-rise projects and residential projects as well, staking and such. And surveying overall, when we think about it, we liken it a lot to the pit stop of the overall race. Not many people get a survey and print it and frame it and put it on their wall and say, man, that's a beautiful survey. I'm going to look at that every day. Honestly, a lot of times people that aren't used to these projects run into the speed bump of needing a survey. So we liken it to the pit stop because in a race, obviously the goal is to win the race, to be successful, and you're making your laps and you're maintaining your position. And the driver doesn't often sit and say, I can't wait to pull off and refuel. It's usually a pain for them, a pain point. But two things are consistent when they do that, and it's they need it done. It needs to be correct. They need 4 tires instead of 3. They need the fuel refilled, and it needs to be done fast. And we found that a lot of our clients feel the same way. They want it done fast. It's a speed bump. It has to be accurate. So we've really centered our business around executing surveys at scale, at high volume, with a high attention to, or strong attention to accuracy of them. And overall, technology leads our firm. We sometimes, Dane, you've heard this many times, we sometimes refer to ourselves as a tech company that happens to do land surveying. And that's evident in the tech stack we use, the hardware that we use both in the field and from an IT standpoint, and then also just the strategic focus that we have.
And I think it's just to your point there around being a tech company that happens to be doing land surveying. I think that's a really apt statement because I know you've shared with me just the journey that Terrane has taken over the last number of years to get to where they are right now from a technology perspective. And I'd love to kind of wind the clock back a little bit and kind of share with the group here where kind of Terrane started with looking at technologies to really provide the, I'd say, underlying processes to actually provide that kind of pit stop niche mentality in the market.
Yeah, well, you're going to bring back some PTSD. There's a there's a long history there. Now, when you think about it, executing projects in general, like on a one-off basis, can be fairly simple. If you think about it, like selling a bike. If you decide you're going to run a business day and you're going to sell a bike one a week, it's fairly simple. You create an ad, you procure your bike for sale, you meet the buyer, sales complete, and transaction's done. But think about if you wanted to develop a business and you want to sell 20 bikes a week or 50 bikes a week or 100 bikes a week. Well, all of a sudden starts to get a lot more challenging to organize that. And the same is true with the surveys that we execute, the professional services that we offer our clients. At a few a week, a handful a week, it's not that challenging. When we're doing 50 to 60 to 70 to 100 a week, it all of a sudden becomes a thing, we'll call it. And we need and recognize this, I'd say 10 years, probably 15 years ago at this point. Our CEO, very futuristic and strategic, recognize we need something to manage this. There's no way we can provide this value and offer this speed of the pit stop to our clients without sophisticated systems. And at that point, call it 15 years ago, the company decided to go down this route of building in-house software. So in-house developers created a proprietary system to help us organize our projects. And quite frankly, it worked really well. It was much better than Excel or some of the physical processes that were in place, and it was maintained for a period of time. And then, as with technology, as you know, Dane, being in the industry, it progresses so rapidly. Security needs change. That's one thing that's a challenge to keep up with. So security, things being hosted physically on-prem versus cloud technologies, how files are moving around, became very challenging to keep up with development needs in that regard as it relates to our in-house system. So the decision was made to again, let's hire a team of developers, much larger team, throw some more horsepower at it, and again go custom. Couldn't at the time really find a solution, a software that met all the needs we had. We utilized many different things in addition to project management, mapping, utilities, things like that. So decided to go down the custom route again, and felt really good about it. But it soon became again tedious. Really, the team of developers they worked. It worked well. We started building. We had a large team internally too that was helping with project management and ideas. I think at one point we're standing, and the metaphor was standing at the base of a mountain looking up going, we know we need to get to the top. We're not sure which one of these trails is going to get us there, but we're going to start hiking our way up and figure it out. Probably after about 5 years of going down that path, it became quite evident that this was probably not going to be the long-term solution for us moving forward. So we did launch that software. We landed it, we'll say, and there were some good heavy closed door meetings of what is the forever solution, where are we headed, and it was evident that it was going to be a SaaS solution, something that's out there, something that companies are developing and investing many dollars into in R&D and research, and continually improving their own systems. So we started that journey at that point.
I really like I remember you sharing a story with me about the kind of one of the aha moments as well, when you're looking at the shift from supporting a custom solution to something that is available from a SaaS provider. I'm not sure if you have time to share that story, but I think it speaks volumes.
Oh yeah, I remember that vividly. I think gosh, we had gone through in the middle of developing, launching the software. We've gone through somewhat of a branding change, new website, and a new logo. So we had started out building the software already with this team. We have a new logo, and as we're going through different iterations of development and reviewing it, our CEO's looking at it, our CRO's looking at it. There's hey, we gotta get that logo changed, Jared. Like, what are we gonna do to get it changed? Like, yeah, okay, we'll get to that. And I just remember sitting there and realizing I can't change the logo. I have the file. I know where it needs to go. I just can't do it. And in reaching out to the team of developers, we were quoted, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours worth of development time to add functionality, to upload and change the logo in the top right corner. And it was a pretty strong moment for me at that point to sit back and go, man, what are we doing? This isn't going to work long term for us. But yeah, I remember that moment vividly.
Yeah, it's very interesting when you start to look at that, even just at the most basic level, right? How impactful those small changes can be, and that development that's already been done at a SaaS provider where it's all custom code when you do it yourself. I would love to hear about, because I think that journey itself on the kind of the customer route was a long period of time. Now, I'd say your switch to SaaS wasn't necessarily an overnight thing either, right? You took it very seriously with the Terrane team of vetting the SaaS providers, vetting the partners, and I think you said it was about 6 months in the decision-making process with. I want to say you interviewed everyone under the sun from a SaaS provider, as well as from a partner perspective. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not wrong there. Having come from this history of investing a lot of time and energy and quite frankly dollars into evaluating other systems and working with a variety of partners, it became really clear. I feel like I've used that term so many times. It became really clear. There's a lot of clarity we've gotten over this journey, but it was apparent that we needed one of two things. We needed a system that absolutely met our needs and we could scale with, but we also needed a partner that had our back. And I laugh because there was a point. This number changes every time I recount this, so there's no one on here to keep me honest. But I'm sure I'll get a message after telling me what the true number is. It was between 16 to 18 partners that we evaluated, and I remember in a Salesforce conference room sitting there with one of our account reps. And they saw how many partners we evaluated, and like, nobody goes over 3. What are you doing? It's like, well, you have no idea where we've come from, and the amount of times we've been, burned for lack of a better word at various stages. So the software solution, the SaaS solution we chose was very important, but without a partner aligned to us that can make it a reality, it's going to be a sunk cost. So we viewed both of those things as very important. And Dane, obviously, we chose NeuraFlash, and I don't want to make this a NeuraFlash commercial, so I'll try not to gush too much. But you remember the beginning, we pushed hard. We spent hours of time internally coming up with flow charts and mapping our processes from start to finish, and not, hey, just a team was doing that for us. No, the executive team was spending hours not only mapping it with others in the company, but then we were looking at it nights and weekends, making sure we really had this dialed in, because we don't want to do this again. Now, iterating off into the future is a different story, but the journey of put a system in, then take a system out and keep moving, that was going to be done this time. So yeah, many months spent, many partners spent, a lot of times I use the term, are you sure you got our back? But the NeuraFlash team really stepped up to the plate, and it's obviously it's easy to look back in hindsight now and see the positivity in the process. We were definitely hesitant and nervous stepping into this with any partner because of our past experience. But safe to say now, looking back, we chose the right partner with yourself and your team, and couldn't be happier and feel supported. Obviously, we're both businesses, right? So NeuraFlash team wants to make money, as Terrane wants to make money. But it's probably been the first time in many years that we felt that partner we have is standing beside us and working towards the same goal, and wants it as badly or close to as badly as we do.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Jared. I really appreciate it. And we will probably have to make that into a commercial as well, needless to say. But no, I think a lot of what that alignment came from was the vision that Terrane has set, right? Terrane's very clear with where they want to go. It's not always how we're going to get there, but it's where we want to go and setting that direction. And I think we've kind of gone into a very interesting time. When we started that journey on Salesforce, generative AI wasn't a thing yet, really. It wasn't mainstream, it wasn't being talked about. But since this AI boom, Terrane's kind of found itself in a perfect position where you've moved to a SaaS platform. You haven't built really any tech debt on that platform. You're ready to be nimble to kind of drive into the latest technologies and use them to help achieve your goal within the industry and within the market. And I think and I know we have countless conversations about the different technologies and the different ways we can achieve this. And some of these things we talk about, we don't execute on, and we just go through the motions of kind of the mind and thought experiment of going down those paths and exploring those options and seeing if they are going to actually make that impact or not. I'd say that with the AI boom that's happened, there's a few things that have started to kind of pop up to the front, and I'd love to kind of talk through a few of those use cases that we're thinking about and how they're really impactful to Terrane. Because again, you mentioned the pit stop, right? The thing I know about the pit stop is efficiency, right? Whenever you, I'm not sure how many of the viewers here watch F1, but you see the little clock in the corner as soon as the car goes up, car goes down, and it's off, right? And the shorter that clock goes for, the better. And so when we look at generative AI, I know that's been a major focus for Terrane. I think there's two use cases that we've chatted about. One we'll show a demo about, but one that's actually a bit more recent is a really good one of prioritization, right? And I'll try to do a little bit of an explanation of prioritization of projects for Terrane, but Jared, feel free if you want to jump in. And I think this is a really good, really neat use case and can drive a lot of inspiration for others. So Terrane's, how they will do kind of their servicing of their projects, right? It's really that, it's a project, right? It's a lot of sequential work elements, right? And they can be different people that are doing those work elements. And as Jared mentioned, there's hundreds to thousands of projects going on at the same time. And so it becomes a challenge of how do we prioritize which work is being done by who, when, that's going to help us maximize the outputs that we want, right? Which is, happy customers, higher volume, and a positive margin, right? With this. So I know the prioritization piece of this is a insanely complex problem, right? When you start looking at all of the different factors that matter, right, Jared? Like we were talking about, I think probably a dozen to 20 different factors that really impact how you would prioritize a single piece of work against all the other work that's due, right? And we can kind of rattle through a couple of those, but when you look at your customer tiering, your due dates that are available, your customer happiness score. So if a customer is inquiring about where their survey is, right, making sure that we're prioritizing those with concern, right? There's a number of these different attributes. And Jared, I know you mentioned prioritizing that alone can take tens, 20, 30 hours a week to just maintain a prioritization if it was being done by a human, right? And so that's where it really generative AI coming in, where we might not be at and Jared, we've explored this, right? The building an algorithm behind the scenes to optimize the priority for an individual appointment or an individual work element. But one of the ways one of the things that we're looking at is how generative AI can play in that, right? Because really what generative AI could do in this case is act like a human who is doing that manual prioritization, considering all of these attributes that they don't have the mathematical equation next to them and how they influence this priority, and making a subjective call of what should be prioritized. It's one of those things that I don't know about you, Jared, but I get pretty excited about, where you can get that kind of power that used to be millions and millions of dollars to invest, but you can get that very quickly.
Yeah.
And so I've rambled on a lot, but I know that one's really excited me, and I know it's excited the Terrane team as well as a possibility for the future.
Yeah, and Dane, I would add one caveat, even to how you just set that up. I mean, I think you work for Terrane. You explained that so perfectly. You know our process. I'll see you in the break room. But how about once it's all prioritized, when somebody gets sick and falls off, and, hey, we're all human. People get sick. Now reprioritization with a person doing that process, even at 20 to 30 hours a week, the lag time of having 30 minutes go by between that person found out that the other person was sick, and now that queue needs to be shuffled or spread amongst the rest of the people that actually are in the office. That alone can cause a lot of lost time. It's like back to the F1 illustration. The guy who puts the fourth tire on got sick or is delayed in traffic on the way, but the pit crew leader, you can tell I don't watch F1 because I don't know any of these people's titles, but work with me. The pit crew leader doesn't know that, and the F1 car comes in and has 3 tires on, now has to sit. So that sub 5-second pit stop now turned into 4 minutes while they're waiting for the guy to park and get his tire and put the tire on. That when you're operating at speed or at scale, those seemingly small things, being a few minutes late or being sick, can definitely cause a problem. Whereas generative AI, there's definitely a path forward to solving that for us.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that's one of the key things with generative AI that we keep seeing over and over again, is where we can have kind of instantaneous action taken as opposed to delayed action taken. And one of the areas that we've also been exploring with you was on your quoting process, because I think this is the one where, again, when you're starting looking at high volume, you really need efficiencies across the board. And I'd say even more from an efficiency from an internal perspective, I think this is major for customers, right? Customers might be asking multiple companies for a quote on a survey, right? So it's a lot of the time it's the first to respond that's going to be kind of in the good books of when evaluating the which service to go with. And so we've kind of prepared a little bit of a demonstration here of how generative AI can be brought into the quoting process. And so and I'll talk a little bit about how Terrane kind of does it today, which is still efficient, but we're looking for that kind of unlocking that next level of efficiency. So a typical kind of sales cycles for Terrane would start with a customer requesting a land survey, let's say for a remodel. They're doing a remodel on their home, and they're a homeowner who's interested or needs a survey in order to complete that remodel. So they'll go to Terrane's website. They will submit for a survey. Typically that gets submitted to a lead. Classic, a sales rep will go and review that lead. And now this is where it changes. Normally, a sales rep will now engage in a number of steps of research, right? They'll go look at the county assessor page. They'll go look at the topographic region to see if there's any kind of steep slopes or if it's in a wetland or anything that's going to be challenging. they'll look for past red flags that might make this this service more complex or challenging, where that'll have to influence the price, right? And most importantly, is they look at all the past jobs in the area, right? And evaluate, how did those go? What were the margins? You know, was there any difficulties that we need to bring over as part of their research? So usually that research can take, you know, your sales team, when I look at them, they're so efficient with how they're able to go through all of these steps. But now with generative AI, we look at how Einstein, so Salesforce's generative AI tool, can actually take some of that research out of it and look at even preparing the proposal for the sales rep on behalf of them. So Einstein can go do all of those research steps that we talked about, look at those past proposals, and then formulate a proposal that will be appropriate for Jason, the person who's requesting a land survey. So we can touch on a video here on the next slide, and we can take a look at what this could look like in the future for Terrane. I think we're just having a bit of audio issues here, but I can always do a voiceover.
Let's see how generative AI can enable Terrane to find efficiencies in its sales process, allowing for faster conversions and happier customers. Like many sales processes, it starts with an expression of interest from a customer. Jason, a homeowner, is looking to complete a remodeling project, so he first needs to have a boundary survey completed. Jason connects with Terrane through their web to lead form and submits it. Once the form is submitted, one of Terrane's sales reps is able to pick up the lead. Previously, this would kickstart the sales research processes, including looking at topographic maps, understanding nearby past projects, problem areas, reviewing the county assessor page, and more. Now, with Einstein 1 in the trust layer, the sales rep is able to go directly from lead to generating proposal for Jason. Einstein will review the submitted information, look at historic projects in a nearby radius of similar types, understand if there are any red flags that would add complexity, look at the topography for anything that would exclude it from a receiving service, and determine the proper services needed. It will build a multi-option quote on behalf of the sales rep. The sales rep is able to see and review the quotes that Einstein just created and priced. They are able to make adjustments if needed and send off a DocuSign proposal to Jason. Jason receives a proposal in record time and chooses to upgrade to a boundary survey with a house locate. With Einstein and the trust layer, Terrane's sales team is able to close deals faster so they can continue to provide the efficient service they are known for.
So that is a little bit of an insight into where the future could be for Terrane from a sales process, right? With generative AI. We're seeing a number of other customers actually very interested on the proposal and quoting processes that generative AI can provide as part of its underlying ability to be subjective and understand a lot of data and make decisions effectively based on other analyzed data as well. So, Jared, I mean, I know that was probably actually the earliest time you've seen that, but I'd love to just kind of hear your thoughts on just what you're excited for with generative AI, and where you're looking forward to over the next year with Terrane and its technology evolution.
Yeah, thank you, Dane. The demo was awesome. I'm sure our CRO, if she's watching, is very excited about that too, and we'll be talking about it later. No, I appreciate you doing that. The future is bright with AI. Again, the benefits of going with a SaaS provider like Salesforce and understanding or having them have an understanding of the future of technology and the R&D that they're putting towards it it's actually bringing up things we didn't know we needed, but now that we've seen it, we know we need it. That was impactful at Dreamforce. Really, the excitement I have around generative AI, or we have, I should say, as a firm around this, is the efficiency aspect. So we talked about it on prioritization. You've showed it on how it could affect the sales team. We have a really talented team of employees here across the business, on the operations side, on the sales side, on the support side, and to be able to leverage AI to take away portions of the day-to-day tasks that they have to do that they don't enjoy, and hold them back from being able to focus their talent on things they're really good at, is exciting to me. The other side of the equation is our customers. We want to provide impact for our clients. We put that at the forefront. I mean, that's why we are investing in technology and trying to go fast. We see that need. They need it fast. They need it accurate. So AI is a path to taking a lot of the I guess time in between waiting periods and accelerating that, which our customers will see the direct benefit from. If we could get them a survey faster than they've ever gotten a survey before, they're going to love that, and that's going to help their overall process, and it'll save them money. And so we're excited to provide that value to them.
And I'd love to be a part of that journey for you, because I know what Terrane's doing is really amazing, and I honestly have not seen that many companies kind of attack technology as hard as you have. So very fortunate to get to work with the Terrane team. And Jared, thank you very much for the time today and participating with us on this conversation. Kelsey, I think we are at time, and if not, a few minutes over. So
no worries. I was just going to wrap it up. Yeah, thank you, Jared and Terrane team. Really appreciate it. Dane and Jared, great conversation today. And like I mentioned to all of those who joined, we will send you this session, an awesome demo as well. And thanks everyone for your time. Really appreciate it.